Alright guys, this morning we are going to check our swarm trap and sort of reset it. So you can watch this. That's the big downside of having just cut this layens hive in two. It's heavy. I'll try to lighten it up a little bit. With the swarm trap down, I'll show you, I got this honeycomb, which is actual honeycomb from horizontal hives. So I'm going to put that. I didn't put any comb in the frames, and I didn't use like a bar or something. So I must admit, I was a little bit conscious about the fact that if I had a swarm come in, they could run amok and, you know, get outside of the single frame and everything. So Dr. Leo said all you need is like a small section of comb at the top so that they have something to build off of. So I'm going to do that this morning. You can see how this just fits in here. I could use a whole piece of honeycomb and let them just build off of that. I don't know if you can see it, I have quite a lot of it. Look at all this that he sends you. So I have quite a lot of sheets of it, but let's see, I have 40 frames. I don't think there's 40 sheets on here though. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut them, like, not waste it. I'll cut them just maybe 3 sheets per sheet, right? Or 3 sections per sheet. Now, as I recall off the top of my head, he said to take a battery and just attach the battery, like a 9-volt battery, to the wire, and that will, obviously causes a little bit of a short circuit and heat that wire up, and the comb will melt onto there to stay better. We'll just see how it sticks. It's not super warm today, but let's just see how it sticks and then go from there. Smells great. Another thing that I was just talking to Al saying that I noticed this year was that there's no honeybees. Last year, like, this lawn has lots of clover in it. there were bees all over. I mean, you was just alive. You could hear them. You know, you'd sit over by the fire pit, and you just have all this buzzing around. I probably have seen 24 honeybees the entire spring, total. I don't know. There's lots of bumblebees this year, but there's no honeybees. Now, I tried to buy some swarms, but I couldn't get any. You know, they're all sold out. And then somebody said, who's actually been raising bees, it's late for starting bees. And I assume that means it's late for not just buying packaged bees, but even starting packaged bees. Like they really need that early spring, apparently, when everything's alive, which it still is right now, but I don't know. So that's what he had said. But I'm thinking that if I catch a swarm, that's a different beast, because they're already in the area. They're already actively, you know, working. They have been working all spring, so they're presumably, just trying to think about it logically, you know, they're already squared away. That's the reason that they're swarming, is because they're overgrowing the size of their, whatever their hive is right now. So they're already prospering. So all I'm doing is having them prosper in my box instead of in a tree. There's a neat guy on a channel. I wish I had remembered. Maybe I'll put it down in the link below. This guy, he's like the swarm friggin' master. He just puts, I mean, he doesn't use, or, you know, the whole technique of putting it so high up in the tree. I mean, some of his, he was at his in-laws' place. They had maybe a 6-foot fence, and the box was maybe 3 feet off the ground. I mean, it was at practically knee height, no more than waist height, off the ground. And he was catching swarms in a day. He put a box up on a tree, again, like this high, caught a swarm the next day. Put another box up on the fence next to it, and it wasn't even the next day. It was the same day, as I recall. He had another swarm. So then the third one, he just set the box on the ground. And I can't remember whether he actually picked up another swarm there or not. And this is in a community. Like, this is in a residential area, in a community. So it's a hot spot. So with these boxes being so heavy, I mean, the whole reason I went with layens, in all honesty, the reason I went with the layens highs is because, you know, I don't want to be lifting up all those heavy supers. I mean, right now it's like, okay, but, you know, 10 years from now, or, you know, even 5 years from now, maybe it won't be okay. All right, well, I don't have a battery, a 9-volt battery, to do that little heating thing, but I do happen to have a lighter, and it's even better because it's a wind-resistant lighter, which is like a little jet lighter. So what I will do is take this, put the comb on like this, and then just heat up each strand, and also heats up the comb with it, and I can just push it in. Perfect. Look at that. Licking chicken. Only takes 2 swipes. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see that, but it worked perfectly. So I'm just going to continue to do that, and then we'll be back at you when I go put this box back up. And I'm telling you what, I'm gonna learn from that other guy. I'm putting that box like this high. I'm not climbing up in that tree again. There's a lesson learned. Ah, look at this. There's a honeybee smelling. This is awesome. This is awesome. I gotta show you. She's reacting to the smell of the comb. I told you I haven't seen honeybees. I told you maybe 2 dozen this entire spring. And just by heating that up, she's attracted to it. Isn't that cool? Oh, that is so cool. I was just gonna tell you how great this smells. Apparently she thinks so too. What I didn't show you was I've got Swarm Commander now, okay? And I'm gonna try that because that's what that guy used. And if he used it, yeah. So they say squirt it on the top. Now I'm gonna show you something about the top. It's just typical, watch this. I didn't catch a honeybee in the swarm box, but I did catch a hornet. Is that classic? Now, the problem with the hornet is, obviously I don't want to be, now the problem with the hornet is I obviously don't want to be spraying bee killer inside of a swarm box. So I need to get something that I can smash the life out of that miserable creature. Now, unfortunately, that's going to leave the stink of hornet inside the box. Leave it. Leave the stink of hornet inside the box, which isn't great. I assume it's not great, but you know, I don't think trees are free of pests. So I dare say the bees will be able to adjust to the fact that there's a little stink of hornet in there. And what I'll do is I'll take some of that Commander and spray it right on there. And then they say spray a little bit right here. Ooh, that's powerful. Ooh, that's a powerful smell. Wouldn't that be cool if that little bee came back again because of the, ooh, wow, that's strong. That. And then I put this divider box right to cap it off. Okay, there it is. Now, they say you're supposed to put these things like facing south or something like that. Our weather comes frequently from right out of the south, particularly our worst storms, and the wind also. So I've moved this so that this would be south. So I've moved it so it's southeast, and that will give the opening a little bit of protection from the, look at that. That looks pretty sharp, and I can get to the top too to make sure that it's all squared away. You should have seen the genius that went into this. So I was able to just take this strap and hook it to the bark so it would hold itself up while I lifted the box up. So I wasn't, you know, you learn these things when you're always working by yourself. These little tricks. Genius, I'm telling you. All right, guys, I am so jazzed. I seriously am excited. So this is where it is. I use this tree because it's the straightest trunk, right? Oh, that's something I got to look at because that's not genius. Yeah, see, that's not exactly. I need to put something on the back here to push that box out a little bit, because the one thing, right, it's got to be plumb. That was the word I was looking for earlier when I was talking about the frames. It's got to be plumb, because if it's not, you know, they build right on the line of gravity in a straight direction. So even with that comb in there, I think they'll build. See how it's tilted this way a little bit? I'm just going to take a piece of wood or something and stick it behind there to force that box into plumb.